Hi folks, Puffin here. Thank you for joining the first ritual to honor Judas Iscariot. This is just a little informational video about it. If you didn't see those, just check out those videos on my channel, Puffin channel. But this ritual was done for the first time on August 30th, 2021. As far as I know, anything can be a ritual for Judas. Anything that's good and fun. Rituals should be good and fun. One of the main things Jesus told Judas in the Gospel of Judas, because honoring Judas is based on the Gospel of Judas, a secret gospel most people haven't heard yet. But one of the main things Jesus told the disciples was to stop sacrificing animals. And sacrificing animals was their main form of ritual at the time. And he told them to stop, to cut it out completely. It was a revolutionary change, and maybe one of the main reasons why they destroyed that book, destroyed the Gospel of Judas by the year 200. They thought they destroyed every copy. We happen to get one copy. But even though we stopped sacrificing animals, we still have lingering ideas about rituals, such as that it has to be painful, or at least boring, it has to cause suffering or be costly or something. And it doesn't. Again, rituals should be fun and good, and I'm burning candles here, but that's because candles are fun and good and have good associations and connections to religions all over the world. But you can do anything good to honor Judas. Now people, as I mentioned in my other videos, people have been wary of praying to Saint Jude, who is supposedly not Judas, or Saint Judas. People have been wary about praying to Saint Judas because they're afraid that they might accidentally pray to Judas Iscariot or ask Judas Iscariot for help. So Saint Judas does miraculous things, and I would like to ask Saint Judas to help us miraculously end war and poverty and racism in the world today. I also believe that Saint Jude could be Judas. Even if they are two different people, that's why I lit two different candles, to make sure that we are honoring Judas Iscariot. But that's just, the first idea I came up with for a ritual for Judas. The idea that we need a ritual for Judas, or want to honor Judas in any way, comes from Jesus, because he told Judas to go ahead and do what he did. He told him some other things too. He told him a whole secret prophecy. And that means that Judas didn't betray Jesus. I wanted to make this video just to describe what happened when I was doing the ritual last night. I made an intro video and saw I didn't have much space to record on my phone. So I was going to do another, I did another one. It was about 11, almost 12 minutes long. And then my phone went out of battery, which it's done recently. I started seeing what was going to happen. I tried to save it before it didn't work. During that ritual, I mentioned Donald Trump, and a coyote started howling when I mentioned Donald Trump. I tried to do it again. This time, the camera just turned off. It just backed out of the camera. It was still going, but it wasn't the battery. I don't know what it was. The camera just stopped going. It's never happened that way before. So yeah, a few minutes into it, it stopped recording, and I don't have that one. But it stopped recording shortly after I mentioned the collapse of, because Jesus predicts that all Christian churches will collapse or will be replaced by Judas's church, the true church that Jesus intended. And when I mentioned the other churches collapsing, even though it was 2 o'clock in the morning, 1:30 in the morning, there was a huge sound of lumber falling somewhere in the distance, and or maybe a garbage truck, but anyway, a sound of a big clanging sound. These were both kind of magical occurrences that didn't get recorded, but I wanted to just report them to you. Also, when I uploaded the very first video, I watched it back. I wanted to be the first one to watch it on YouTube, because one of the principles of Judas is self-reflection, introspection. So I watched it back, and then the first video that YouTube linked to it, to my video titled, I think, First Ritual to Honor Judas, was the Clint Eastwood movie Hang 'em High. And I thought, why would they link Hang 'em High, an old Western movie, to this? And I clicked on it and started watching, see if that's what it was. And then I thought about it. I was like, oh, hang him high, because Judas supposedly hung himself. So I did want to mention that Judas probably didn't hang himself. He might have been murdered, or he might have been St. Judas. He might have been St. Jude. He might have been the same Jude that they try to say he wasn't, because things got mixed up and confused, and they destroyed some records, and some things were secret. One thing that's not secret anymore is the Gospel of Judas. You can read it yourself online. Just look up Gospel of Judas and look for the text of it. It's free to read, and it's not very long, but it's missing some parts, and it's amazing, and it's obviously something Jesus said, and it's hard to understand in some parts, or it could be confusing. So I wrote a book, the Book of Judas, to explain it, and would be glad to explain any questions you have in comments here, so you don't have to buy the book. But if you do buy the book, I think it'll be a valuable book, so I hope you like that. The prequel to that book is a Black Lives Matter book, The Art of Betrayal by God, written during the George Floyd era of the Black Lives Matter protests. And it has some of the same information about Judas in it. After I published that book, The Art of Betrayal by God, the very next day, I published it March 15th, 2021. The very next day, March 16th, 2021, news came out that more scrolls had been found from Jesus' time. The Gospel of Judas is the last one that was found 70 years ago. 70 years ago was the last time they found one. And then they found one where they found hundreds of them, including possibly, we don't know yet, more copies of the Gospel of Judas, more complete copies with more information. That's why I was in a hurry to write the Book of Judas, to let everybody know and have it hopefully be verified as the new discoveries come in. So that's pretty much all I have for this. Rituals are good. I'm wearing this funny hat because it's fun. I happen to be wearing it, it's my Antifa party hat. I happen to be wearing it to celebrate the end of war in Afghanistan and the end of war in general. The biggest message Jesus has to Judas is that when these other churches are replaced, all governments based on militaries will be replaced as well as part of this. It's a big transformation. It's due to happen right now, because now we know it can happen. The other part that Jesus said came true, that Judas would be despised for eons, and then he would be honored. And now that we've discovered why and how to honor him, that he didn't betray Judas. Judas didn't betray Jesus. He's just a scapegoat. And when we understand that, it does undo military and bigotry and poverty and racism and sexism. So, thank you all for helping get the message out there. And Judas bless you, Jesus bless you, Goddess bless you, I bless you, and bless yourself. See you soon.